One song, one shining moment. Then, nothing. The 70s gave us some of the biggest one-hit wonders in music history. Artists who dominated the charts for weeks, then vanished like they never existed. No follow-ups, no comebacks, no explanations. Just silence. Some walked away, some were pushed out. And some? We still don't know what happened to them. These are 15 one-hit wonders from the 70s who disappeared without a trace. Let's solve these mysteries. Number 15. King Harvest. Dancing in the Moonlight, 1972. That opening piano riff is pure joy, instant nostalgia, a feeling of summer nights and carefree dancing. King Harvest gave us one of the most feel-good songs of the early 70s. Dancing in the Moonlight peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a radio staple. But here's where it gets weird. The band was based in Paris, France. They were Americans living abroad, trying to make it in the European music scene. After Dancing in the Moonlight hit, they tried releasing follow-ups. None of them charted. The American music industry moved on. And King Harvest? They just faded away. The band eventually broke up. Most members returned to regular jobs. And by the mid-70s, it was like they never existed. And what makes their disappearance so strange is how huge that one song was. It should have launched careers. Instead, it became their epitaph. Decades later, Top Loader covered it and had a hit. But King Harvest? Gone without a trace. The song lives forever. The artists became ghosts. Number 14. Looking Glass. Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, 1972. This New Jersey rock band created one of the catchiest songs of 1972.
On a summer's day, bringing gifts from far.
Brandy went to number 1 and stayed there for a week. The story was simple but powerful. A barmaid in love with a sailor who loves the sea more than her. The melody was infectious. And that da-da-da-da-da-da-da hook? Impossible to forget.
When the bars closed down, Brandy was.
Looking Glass seemed poised for stardom. They had the hit. They had the talent. They had momentum. And then, nothing. Their follow-up singles flopped. Internal conflicts tore the band apart. By 1974, they'd broken up completely.
A locket that bears the name of a.
Lead singer Elliot Lurie tried a solo career. It went nowhere. The other members scattered to different projects, none of which gained traction. What's fascinating is that Brandy never stopped being popular. It was featured in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in 2017.
Skin wine. They say, Brandy, you're a fine.
Introducing it to a whole new generation. But Looking Glass? They disappeared so completely that most people don't even know the band's name. They just know the song. One hit, one moment of perfection, then vanished into the ether.
Through a silent town and loves a man who's not.
Number 13. Vicki Sue Robinson, Turn the Beat Around, 1976. When that percussion intro hits, you know it's time to dance. Turn the Beat Around was a disco classic that defined 1976. Vicki Sue Robinson had Broadway credentials. She'd been in theater productions. She had serious vocal chops. This wasn't some manufactured disco diva. This was a real talent. Turn the Beat Around peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was everywhere. Discos, radio, roller rinks, everywhere. But the follow-ups failed. Her label dropped her. And by the late 70s, as disco began its decline, Vicki Sue Robinson faded with it. She tried to come back in the 90s, embracing house music. Minor success in dance clubs, but nothing mainstream. What makes her disappearance tragic is that she had the voice and the talent for a long career. But disco's shelf life was short, and when the genre died, so did many of its stars. Vicki Sue Robinson passed away in 2000 from cancer, largely forgotten by mainstream audiences. But Turn the Beat Around? That song is immortal, and it reminds us that sometimes one perfect moment is all you get. Number 12. Derek, Cinnamon, 1968. Technically late 60s, but its impact carried into the early 70s. Cinnamon was a quirky, psychedelic pop song that hit number 11 in 1968.
I can't wait.
Derek was actually Johnny Cymbal, a musician who'd been in the industry for years under different names. Cinnamon was his biggest success. The song had this dreamy, almost hypnotic quality. It stood out from everything else on the radio, and for a few months, it was huge. Then Derek/Johnny Cymbal disappeared from the charts. He kept making music, kept releasing records, but nothing connected. What's interesting is that he didn't really disappear from the industry. He just disappeared from public consciousness. He became a songwriter and producer, working behind the scenes. But as Derek, the artist, gone. The public moved on, and Cinnamon became a time capsule from a weird, experimental moment in pop music. Johnny Cymbal died in 1993, still working in music but unknown to most of the people who danced to Cinnamon 25 years earlier. One hit, one alter ego, then back into the shadows.
Let me in, I won't go away.
Number 11. Terry Jacks, Seasons in the Sun, 1974. This song dominated 1974. 3 weeks at number 1. Millions of copies sold worldwide.
We've known each other since we were 9.
It was massive. Terry Jacks, a Canadian musician, took a French song, translated it, and created one of the most melancholic hits of the decade. The song was about a dying man saying goodbye to loved ones. Heavy stuff. But it resonated. People couldn't stop playing it. After that, Terry Jacks tried to follow up. Nothing worked. He released more singles. They flopped. By the mid-70s, he'd essentially retired from music. What makes his disappearance interesting is that it seemed voluntary. He walked away from the industry, moved to environmental activism,
Our hearts and skinned our knees. Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to die.
and never looked back. He didn't need the fame. He'd had his moment. He was done. Terry Jacks is still alive, living quietly in Canada. He rarely gives interviews, rarely discusses his music career. Seasons in the Sun remains a classic. But Terry Jacks?
We had fun, we had seasons in the sun, but the stars.
He disappeared because he wanted to. And honestly, there's something respectable about that. One hit, one choice, then peace.
You would always come around and get my.
Number 10. Maxine Nightingale. Right back where we started from, 1975. This British singer gave us one of the most uplifting disco soul songs of the mid-70s. Right back where we started from, peaked at number 2 in the US, Maxine. Nightingale had a powerful voice. The song had an irresistible groove, and for a few months, she was everywhere. Then she had one more minor hit, Lead Me On, in 1979. And that was it. American audiences forgot about her. But here's the twist. She didn't really disappear. She had a solid career in the UK and Europe. She kept performing, kept recording, kept working. It's just that America moved on. The US market forgot her name, even though the song remained a classic.
I just can't stay away, no.
This is the weird thing about one-hit wonders. Sometimes they only disappeared in one country while thriving elsewhere. Maxine Nightingale is still performing today, still working, still making music. But to most Americans, she's just that woman who sang that song in the 70s. One American hit. One moment of US fame. Then back to everywhere else. Number 9. Silver Convention. Fly, Robin, Fly. 1975. 6 words. The entire song had 6 words. Fly, Robin, fly, fly, Robin, fly. Up, up to the sky. And it went to number 1. Silver Convention was a German disco group. 3 vocalists fronting for producers and session musicians. Fly, Robin, Fly was minimalist brilliance. The groove did all the work. After that, they had one more hit, Get Up and Boogie, which also charted well. But by the late 70s, gone. The problem with manufactured groups is that when the formula stops working, there's no artist to fall back on. Silver Convention was a product, and when that product stopped selling, it was discontinued. The vocalists went their separate ways. The producers moved on to other projects, and Silver Convention became a footnote in disco history. What makes Fly, Robin, Fly unforgettable is its simplicity. 6 words, but they worked. The group disappeared. But that song? It's still played at retro nights and used in soundtracks. One hit, 6 words, then silence. Number 8. Hot Butter. Popcorn. 1972. This instrumental electronic track was weird, and it was massive. Popcorn was performed on a Moog synthesizer. Creating this bouncy, futuristic sound that nobody had really heard before on the pop charts. Hot Butter wasn't even a real band. It was studio musicians led by Stan Free. But the song became a phenomenon, hitting number 9 in the US and going to number 1 in multiple countries. Electronic music wasn't mainstream in 1972. Popcorn was an anomaly, a novelty. And once the novelty wore off, so did Hot Butter's career. They tried to follow it up with more electronic instrumentals. None of them caught on. By 1973, Hot Butter was done. The song, though, it became a classic. It's been covered hundreds of times. It's in commercials, movies, TV shows. But Hot Butter? And they disappeared as quickly as they'd appeared. One synthesizer. One catchy melody. Then back to obscurity. Number 7. Paper Lace. The Night Chicago Died. 1974. This British group sang about a fictional shootout in Chicago, and America ate it up. The song went to number 1 in 1974. The irony? Paper Lace was from Nottingham, England. They'd never been to Chicago. They were singing about American history they'd learned from movies. Americans didn't care. The song was dramatic, catchy, and had a great hook. It dominated radio, but the follow-ups failed. The Night Chicago Died was lightning in a bottle, and Paper Lace couldn't recreate it. By the mid-70s, they'd broken up. Some members kept performing under the name for nostalgia tours, but the original lineup scattered. What's funny is that decades later, people still remember the song but have no idea who Paper Lace was. So it's become a trivia question answer more than a legitimate piece of music history. One fictional story, one massive hit, then obscurity.
But the clock upon the wall.
Number 6. Carl Douglas. Kung Fu Fighting. 1974. When Kung Fu movies exploded in the West, Carl Douglas capitalized with the perfect novelty song.
Let's get it on. We took the ball and made a stand.
Kung Fu Fighting was recorded in 10 minutes as a B-side. 10 minutes. And it became a worldwide phenomenon, hitting #1 in the US and UK. Carl Douglas was a Jamaican-born British singer who'd been struggling for years. This was supposed to be just another session. Instead, it became the biggest hit of his life. The problem? It was a novelty. Once the Kung Fu craze faded, so did interest in Carl Douglas. He tried to follow it up with Dance the Kung Fu, but that felt desperate. Nothing else he released gained traction. By the late 70s, Carl Douglas had returned to obscurity. He kept performing on the nostalgia circuit, but as a recording artist, done. Kung Fu Fighting has been used in countless movies, commercials, and parodies. It's cultural shorthand for the 70s. But Carl Douglas? He's the answer to a trivia question. One 10-minute recording session. One global smash. Then vanished. Number 5. The Bells. Stay a While. 1971. This Canadian group gave us a soft rock ballad that peaked at number 7 in 1971. Stay a While was gentle, romantic, and perfect for slow dancing. It had lush harmonies and a melody that stuck with you. The Bells seemed poised for success. They had the talent. They had the hit. They had the momentum. But their follow-up singles failed to chart. The group couldn't recapture the magic, and by the mid-70s, they'd disbanded. Lead singer Jackie Ralph tried a solo career. It went nowhere. The other members disappeared into regular jobs. What makes their disappearance notable is how complete it was. They didn't even maintain a nostalgia presence. They just stopped. Stay a While occasionally pops up on soft rock compilations, but most people have no idea who the Bells were. One beautiful ballad, a one moment of tenderness, then silence.
With all this love I have to give it.
Number 4. Mouth and McNeil. How Do You Do? 1972. This Dutch duo gave us one of the catchiest, most annoyingly unforgettable songs of 1972. How Do You Do? See you later. How do you do? See you later. Those lyrics made no sense, but the song went to number 8 in the US. Mouth and McNeil were huge in Europe, but in America, one hit, then nothing. They kept performing in Europe through the 70s and beyond. But the American market forgot them immediately. The song lives on as a quirky relic of early 70s pop. But the artists, unknown to most Americans. One nonsense song, one brief American moment, then back to Europe. Number 3. Shocking Blue. Venus, 1970. This Dutch rock band created one of the most iconic songs of the early 70s. Venus hit number 1 in 1970 and has been covered countless times since. Lead singer Mariska Veres had an incredible voice and a striking look. The band seemed destined for superstardom, but they couldn't follow it up. In the US market, they were done after Venus. They had other hits in Europe, but America moved on. The band broke up in 1974. Mariska Veres tried a solo career with limited success. She passed away in 2006, and while Venus remained a classic, most people who sang along had no idea who Shocking Blue was. Bananarama's 1986 cover introduced the song to a new generation. But the original artists remained forgotten. One perfect song, one incredible voice, then vanished from American consciousness. Number 2. Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky, 1970. That opening guitar riff is one of the most recognizable in rock history. Spirit in the Sky was a massive hit. Reaching number 3 in 1970. Norman Greenbaum was a Jewish musician who wrote a Christian rock song. The irony was beautiful, and it worked. But he never came close to that success again. His follow-ups failed. The music industry moved on. Here's the strange part. Norman Greenbaum didn't seem to care. He made his money from Spirit in the Sky royalties, retired to a farm in Northern California, and lived quietly. He's still alive today, rarely giving interviews, rarely performing. He had his moment, cashed the checks, and walked away. Spirit in the Sky has been in hundreds of movies and TV shows. It's been covered by everyone from Doctor and the Medics to Gareth Gates. But Norman Greenbaum? He disappeared by choice, and he seems perfectly happy about it. One song, one massive payday, then peace and quiet. Number 1. The Buoys, Timothy, 1971. This is the most disturbing one-hit wonder of the 70s, and possibly the strangest disappearance. Timothy tells the story of 3 miners trapped in a cave-in. When rescuers find them, only 2 survive. And Timothy? He's gone, and the lyrics heavily imply the survivors ate him. Yes, a song about cannibalism peaked at number 17 in 1971. The Buoys claimed it was just a dark story song, but radio stations were horrified. Some banned it. Others played it because controversy sells. After that, the Buoys couldn't escape the Cannibalism Association. Every follow-up was dead on arrival. Radio wouldn't touch them. The band broke up by the mid-70s. Lead singer Dakota Staton disappeared from music entirely. So what makes this the number 1 strangest disappearance is that Timothy should have launched a career based on shock value alone. Instead, it killed one. The Buoys became the band that sang about eating Timothy, and nobody wanted anything to do with them after that. One controversial song, one huge miscalculation, then complete erasure. Timothy remains a dark curiosity, a song people play to make others uncomfortable. But the Buoys? They disappeared without a trace. And honestly, after singing about cannibalism, maybe that was for the best. From King Harvest to the Buoys, these artists gave us unforgettable songs, then vanished like they never existed. Some walked away, some were pushed out, and some just couldn't catch lightning twice. But their songs? Those live forever, even when the artists become ghosts. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the 70s most mysterious disappearances. If you loved this countdown, hit that subscribe button. Up next, we're diving into one-hit wonders from the 80s who disappeared even faster. Keep the mystery alive.
Back in the